So if you're a business owner and you hate being on camera and filming your videos, first of all, I totally get it. There are essentially 4 things that you can do. First, simplify. Second, batch create. Third, plan. And fourth, hire out. And before I tell you the most detailed instruction for each of these steps, I just need to tell something. Look, you don't need to like something in order to do something. I know, shocker. Like for the long time, I've been thinking that I would do something so much better, or I would have motivation if I just liked the process. But eventually, I realized that I don't like any process at all or any work at all, to the extent that it gives me like the motivation to do it. Usually, some other things motivate me in order to accomplish things that are necessary. So if you know that filming are bringing you sales or have a potential to do so, but it feels so daunting to do this, just realize that first, you don't need to like it, but second, that there are so many solutions to solve the friction that you have approaching this task. Now, I don't like it is only one friction that you face, but there are so many things that stands between you and creating the videos. Now, the first friction is complexity of the whole process. Now, imagine a cube sliding down the surface. There are 2 cubes that we can compare. So the first cube is sliding on a smooth and straight surface, but the other cube is sliding on the surface that has like little bumps on it or some small holes, and the whole surface is kind of rough. So which cube do you think will slide faster and easier? Of course, the one that has the smooth surface. So this is that friction that it doesn't have, that the cube with rough surface has, that allows the first cube to slide the surface really fast. And this is exactly what you need to create with your setup in order to reduce that friction that prevents you from filming. Okay, let me tell you what setup I have to simplify this process for myself. So there's this softbox that I have all the time standing here. Also, the camera that I'm filming on right now is also standing right here all the fucking time. And this allows me to just grab a camera like I'm grabbing it right now, move it, that's me moving the camera, and put it right here so that it has like the blurred background behind me, and it's done. I'm kind of ready to film. Of course, I need to like clip the microphone, but this microphone is always on the camera, so I have the easy access to it all the time. Another thing that could simplify the setup is to just have a pretty apartment. And if you think that you need to like get the whole renovation done before you get the pretty apartment, that's not true. There are millions of videos on YouTube about how to find a setup that will work for you. I have this video right here that's talking about 8 setups that I could find in my small 34 square meters apartment. And if you have bigger than that, I'm pretty sure you have places to film in. Sometimes, yeah, you need to beautify some things, maybe add a plant or add a lamp like this is actually my nightstand, or add a picture. So little touches like that help, but this will prevent you from having this thought that I don't have a pretty setup so I cannot film. Like one of my clients told me the other day that they could not film because their studio that they usually rent for filming, I don't know, got busy and they didn't let them in. And I was like, why would you rent a studio? This is such a big bump on the surface of that cube to create for yourself, and this is ultimately preventing you to film. So I suggest you just have one simple setup for the start that you will always film in, and that you have like your camera and microphone besides. So this was about setup. Another thing that would simplify this process for you is to create bullet points. I know some of my clients really like the word-for-word scripts, but you know, lately I've been teaching them out of this. And the reason being is that it does sound a little unnatural, especially if it's not written by hand, but you use the AI for this. But the second problem is that it takes a lot of time to write word-for-word script, but it takes just, you know, 30 minutes to outline your bullet points, to add some examples, photos, case studies, etc., and you're done. And the ultimate hack to simplify this process for you is to hire somebody to help you with content. This could be me and my team, because we get pretty good results with YouTube for our clients, and we simplify the process a lot by having the ideation handled, by creating script outlines that make it easy to film, by coaching on all the tech setup, and handling basically the whole post-production process from editing to posting. That's why clients tell me that it takes them 1, sometimes 2 hours if the presentation is included to film a video. And this is pretty good for such a strong platform as YouTube. Okay, enough about my agency, and moving on to the next friction that you might have, the frequency. You know, the hardest part of moving any any object is to like start to push it further. And it's also true about any task that you start to do. Whether it's work, like filming, the starting is the hardest. Like me right now, I'm already like going by the plan and going with the flow, but the starting was the hardest because I had to, you know, pick up my butt. That was difficult. Then move things around a little bit to prepare the setup, to clip the microphone, to brush my hair. And this is the hardest part. Yeah, of course, the more you do, the easier it becomes. But if you want to reduce that friction of frequency of doing the thing that you don't like, you can batch create. So when you batch create your videos and you want to film 4 videos at once versus 1 video a week with like 4 filming sessions a month, you know what I mean? For 4 videos at once, you just need to create your setup once, put your camera once, clip your microphone once, do makeup for my female entrepreneurs just once, dress up once, turn on everything like the screen share, the microphone, the camera, the lighting just once, versus when you do this once a week, you're basically repeating the same process every single week. So instead of doing all the things I listed just once, you do them 4 times. This will definitely save you a little bit of time, but it will also reduce that friction before each of the sessions. For example, I have one client who traveling a lot and he films all 4 or 5 even videos within like a couple days and then disappears. Like no messages to me, no answers to my messages, and everything is getting handled by my team. So essentially we are publishing videos weekly while he's traveling and not even, you know, spending attention to what YouTube is doing. Yeah, sure, we meet monthly to make sure everything's going by the strategy, but this is just a fun example of how you can literally spend 1 to 2 days of creating a month worth of content on YouTube by batch creating. Actually, I did it several times also for my challenge, and the video is gonna be right here where I walk you through the live process of it. But here's the problem. Actually, batch creation is hard. Not many talk about it. Everybody's like, I heard it many times from prospects, from some clients like, oh, I'll film these 4 videos tomorrow after we created the outlines. And they end up filming 1, maybe 2, because filming a video is actually a lot of energy, is a lot of time spent, I guess, maybe 30 minutes for a video, but also it is very energy consuming. And I would suggest to start with 2 videos in a row, but as soon as you understand what it's like to batch create videos, it's gonna get easier and easier. So I don't recommend, you know, to plan filming 4 videos at once right away without experience. Maybe start with 2 and then ramp it up to 4 and then maybe even more, I don't know. So you now know how to simplify, how to batch create, but this all will not happen if you don't plan it out. And one of the biggest frictions that you may have that would stop you from filming is actually you. You are essentially that object sliding on the surface. And if you smoothed out your surface, if you already started moving, the only thing that can speed you up is changing yourself as a person to become more of the round form. And this will reduce your friction on your way to success. Because round objects move typically a lot faster on surfaces. So imagine you're pushing a ball and it's just rolling on the surface. It's definitely gonna do it faster than if you had a cube, you know, rolling on the surface. So how you're gonna change yourself with planning? When you plan, you are becoming a consistent person because you have the thing you need to do on your calendar all the time. And this is how you're becoming a person who does the thing because it's on your calendar. And the more you plan the thing and put it on your calendar, the more round you become and the smoother the slide is. And let me show the calendar that I have for this. So I'm gonna take my laptop here. I didn't know it would be that hard to hold it. Okay, maybe I need like a table or something. All right, so this is my calendar. And what has become a game changer for me for creating content as an entrepreneur is having a day devoted to the content completely. So these are Mondays, but I'm gonna touch on like YouTube videos here, like how they are planned for me. But essentially all Mondays for me are devoted for YouTube, then Reels planning, content scripting, then research as well, and then my LinkedIn and X posts. So I do this all on Mondays, but for YouTube itself, I spend around 2 hours on Mondays. And what I do is I research idea, I create a bullet point script, and I do the hook, which is important, and I try to like explore which hooks are working in the industry and make my own from their templates. So this is what I do in the morning. I'm eating the frog and I like cross this thing off my list in the first 2 hours of the morning. Then I have Tuesdays. This is a day when I plan to film. Always mornings for Tuesdays is when I'm alone at home and when I plan to film. These are my anchoring days. Like I film on Tuesday and it means that everything should be ready for Tuesday to film. This is how anchoring to one day of filming helps a lot to like have the deadline and have everything prepared before that deadline. So Tuesdays I'm filming for around 2 hours. And if something happens, I have a backup plan, which not many people think about. But having a backup plan is quite important, and I have Thursdays for this. So if something happens on Tuesday, I might have like a lot of work or something unexpected may happen, I don't know. And there's a backup day, which is Thursday, where I also have nobody at home. And I film on these days if something went wrong on Tuesday. Yeah, it kind of spread into 3 days, and this may be annoying for you, I get it. But I really like it this way because if I create content and script content, I don't really want to film the same day. Because scripting and like planning and typing a lot of stuff is one type of work. And I want to get this done with in one day, you know, because it's a similar task. It's kind of batch creation as well, because you do similar tasks all at once. And then filming is another task when you need to like do different things. This is why I plan it for the next day. Anyways, you can create your own calendar, but what's important is to have a filming day always at the same day all the time. I have one client as well who has filming days on Fridays, and he's never skipped a day. We've been filming and posting videos every week for more than a year now. This is consistency required to make it with content on YouTube. So as a result, we want you to become a bowling ball that has a smooth surface, that's been pushed and only needs inertia to help it, that it's gonna get the strikes one after another. But you may ask, well, you've talked about how I can film myself, but what if I really don't want to do that at all? You can hire out. Not many talk about this because, of course, founder-led business and founder-created content is always gonna outperform the rest, I guess, unless it's a UGC or something or another strategy. But if you don't want to film, but you know that you need to build like a personal brand for your company, then you can hire a host. Some examples I have, they're all for SaaS companies. So if you have a SaaS company, this is relevant for you. If other, maybe not that relevant, personal brand is always like outperforming hiring out. But if you are a SaaS company, there is a way. For example, Shopify does this. They hire just a couple, like several women to lead their channel. And this is working pretty good for them, but also they've been in the game for a long time. Another option you can do is to create videos about your users, but this also requires a host. But the videos themselves don't require the expertise of a host, so you don't need to worry if a person that you hired has all the expertise. So they essentially go and interview or create videos about the lives of their users and how they are using the software that your company has. What you can also do is hire influencers. I see a lot of channels like Zapier, Instantly, that have just famous figure in that niche, in that area, present stuff on their channels. Or as an option, you can do it all. You can hire hosts, you can interview your users, and you can hire influencers. But you need that one person who would like overlook this whole process, which is a creative strategist usually, that would plan this all out. Okay, these were all the things that you can do if you don't like filming as an entrepreneur. Another thing that is like a painkiller for you on the ideation side is my document where I handpicked thoroughly. I spent hours on it. 100 viral video ideas and video titles. These are the templates that you can customize for yourself, and these are not only just made up from my head. I also inserted the references so you know exactly where I derived the data from, and you can check yourself if it's viral or not. Download it by the link in the description, and if you wonder what makes a good title that would get clicks and ultimately sales for your business, then watch this video where I broke down the most essential parts of any title. Have the most wonderful day. Goodbye.